Communication is at the heart of every healthy relationship, and our relationship with dogs is no different. Dogs are communicating with us constantly, but because they speak mainly through body language rather than words, we often can miss what they're trying to tell us. Becoming fluent in canine communication helps our dogs feel safe in our human world. It allows us to notice subtle signs, advocate for their needs, and recognise early signs of stress so we can support them before they feel overwhelmed. Dogs communicate primarily through body language, small shifts in posture, facial expression, and movement that reveal how they're feeling. To make this easy to understand, we use the traffic light zone analogy. Green represents relaxed, happy behaviours. Yellow represents fear, stress, or discomfort, and red represents reactive or aggressive behaviour. Just like traffic lights, dogs always pass through yellow before they reach the red zone. When we recognise yellow signs early, we can gently intervene, reduce pressure, and help our dogs feel safe without them needing to resort to red zone behaviours. But before we dive deeper, it's important to consider two things. First, breed differences. Dogs come in all shapes and sizes, and their neutral posture varies. Learn what your dog looks like when they're relaxed so you can spot subtle changes. Secondly, environmental context. Body language always makes sense in relation to what's happening around the dog. Notice triggers, choose safe environments, and be prepared to move your dog away if stress appears. It's important not to overinterpret a single body part. A behaviour that looks concerning in one context can be completely normal in another. Take the paw lift as an example. In a fearful context, a paw lift appears with a tense body, cowering posture, ears pulled back, and possibly a furrowed brow. In play, the same paw lift is paired with a loose, wiggly body and a soft, open mouth, an invitation to interact. In a stalking context, the paw lift comes with a lowered body, pricked ears, a closed mouth, and an intense, focused stare. Same behaviour, three completely different meanings. This is why we always look at the whole dog and the environment to understand what the dog is feeling and what they need from us. A dog in the green zone will show muscles that are loose, soft eyes, ears are neutral or gently perked forward, and a slightly open, relaxed mouth. Their tail sits comfortably at a kind of half-mast position for their breed, often with a gentle sweeping wag. This is a positive emotional state, calm, confident, and ready to engage. Yellow zone signals are subtle and easy to miss. You may see tension in the face or body, a tightly closed mouth, the ears shifting back, a furrowed brow, or dilated pupils. The dog may shift their weight away, lower their body, pace, or tuck their tail. You may also notice displacement behaviours, such as lip licking when not eating, yawning when not tired, or panting when not hot. These are early signs that the dog is unsure. When we notice them, we can support the dog before they feel the need to escalate. In the red zone, the dog's body becomes still and stiff. Pupils enlarge, the tail becomes stiff, although it may still be wagging. You may see growling, snarling, barking, or lunging. It is important to know that most aggression is fear-based. These behaviours are distance-increasing signals. The dog is saying, "I'm scared, please go away." Punishing these signals doesn't fix the fear, it only removes the warning system. We want dogs to feel safe telling us they're uncomfortable so we can respond appropriately. When dogs feel threatened, overwhelmed, or unsure, they rely on 4 instinctive coping strategies: fight, flight, freeze, and frantic or fiddle. These are survival responses, and us humans use the same patterns under stress. Fiddle or frantic behaviours are often the most misunderstood because they involve normal behaviours shown out of context. A dog who's calmly sniffing with a loose body, soft tail movement, and relaxed breathing is simply exploring the environment. In contrast, a dog who's sniffing rapidly with a tense body, short breaths, and quick scanning movements is displaying displacement behaviour, using frantic sniffing as a coping strategy rather than genuine curiosity. Panting shows a similar contrast. Gentle panting after exercise, followed by stretching, settling, and resting, is completely normal. However, a dog who's not hot and begins panting in, say, a vet clinic setting is exhibiting a stress response. Other common fiddle behaviours include yawning when not tired and scratching when not itchy. Both are displacement signals that help the dog cope with internal conflict or social pressure. Even over-the-top greetings can be misread. While they may look like excitement, the tight body, frantic movement, and inability to disengage often indicates a stress response rather than true happiness. Flight behaviours can be obvious or extremely subtle. Some dogs will actively try to move away, hide behind their carer, or attempt to leave the space entirely. Others show subtle flight signals, such as shifting their weight backwards, leaning away from the stressor, turning their head, or quietly scanning for an escape route. These dogs are not being difficult, they're communicating a need for distance and safety. Fear responses are equally important to recognise. A dog who becomes still, shuts down, or appears unusually quiet is not being good. In environments like vet clinics, a dog may freeze with a closed mouth, dilated pupils, and rigid posture because they feel they have no safe option. This freeze response is often misinterpreted as compliance, when in reality, the dog is overwhelmed. Fight behaviours like growling, snapping, lunging, or biting are the most dramatic, but are rarely a dog's first choice. These expensive behaviours carry risk, and dogs typically escalate to fight only after their earlier signals have been ignored, punished, or misunderstood. When a dog feels that freeze, flight, or fiddle behaviours have not worked, they may believe that fight is the only remaining option to create safety. Now let's explore another useful signal we can learn to recognise. A shake-off is the same full-body shake a dog does after a bath, but when it happens during everyday life and the dog is completely dry, it's a sign of emotional regulation. Dogs use shake-offs to release tension. You'll often observe a shake-off after a stressful moment or a socially awkward interaction. Meta-signals are subtle social tools dogs use to keep interactions friendly and predictable. These are behaviours that help dogs communicate. This is play, or I'm friendly. A classic example is the play bow, which tells the other dog, this is just pretend. I'm about to chase, grab, or wrestle, but it's all in fun. Dogs also use exaggerated bouncy movements, pauses, soft eyes, and loose bodies to show they're being playful rather than serious. Different breeds have different play styles. Herding dogs may stalk and chase, bully breeds may wrestle, sighthounds may sprint. And not all dogs automatically understand each other's style. That's why choosing appropriate playmates is so important. We want dogs who are comfortable with each other's communication, not overwhelmed by it. Another key concept is called self-handicapping. This is when a larger or stronger dog intentionally softens their movements, maybe lies down or reduces their strength to keep play fair and enjoyable for their partner. It's a beautiful example of dogs adjusting their behaviour to maintain safe, cooperative play. We can support healthy play by reading body language, watching for pauses, those little check-ins where a dog seems to ask, are you still having fun? And making sure both dogs are actively choosing to continue the interaction. It helps to keep moving rather than standing still. Walking encourages flowing, dynamic play and prevents dogs from getting stuck in mosh pit style wrestling that can escalate. And remember, social experiences don't always have to be rough and tumble. Many dogs enjoy parallel activities like a shared safari, exploring the environment together at a comfortable distance. These quieter social outings can be just as enriching and far more appropriate for many dogs. In summary, interpreting body language requires looking at the whole picture rather than focusing on a single behaviour. Understanding a dog's emotional state means considering all body language signals together, paying attention to the environment, the dog's learning history, and what they're trying to access or possibly avoid. When we view behaviour through this broader lens, we can make an informed, compassionate interpretation of how the dog is feeling internally and respond in a way that supports their welfare. You'll now see some examples of dogs in the green, yellow, and red zones. Use these clips to practice observing subtle shifts in body language and emotional state. Dogs move through distinct developmental stages, and understanding these stages helps us set up realistic expectations. Puppies are naturally social and curious, exploring the world with enthusiasm. Adolescents, however, can be excitable, easily lose focus, and become distracted by the world around them. Their emotional brain develops faster than their thinking brain, meaning that they often have big emotional feelings before they have the skills to regulate them. This stage requires patience, calm guidance, and consistent support as they learn how to cope with their rapidly changing world. Most dogs don't reach social maturity until around 2 years of age. Their brains are still developing, their emotional regulation is still maturing, and their behaviour can fluctuate from day to day. This is one of the reasons so many dogs surrendered to shelters are between 1 and 2 years of age. Owners expect stable adult behaviour, but the dog is still learning how to navigate the world. Instead, with a calm understanding and consistent support, they grow into confident, resilient pets. Sociability also changes with age. Just like humans, dogs often enjoy broad social circles when they're young, but as they mature, they tend to prefer familiar friends and calmer interactions. A dog's learning history also shapes their sociability. Some dogs may be fearful of other dogs because of past negative experiences. Others may have big feelings about new environments, be recovering from illness or injury, or be a senior dog who simply doesn't enjoy energetic greetings anymore. These dogs deserve safety, space, and respect. This is why it's never appropriate to allow a dog to approach another dog while saying, "It's okay, my dog's friendly." Your dog's sociability does not guarantee that the other dog wants to interact. The other dog may be stressed, overwhelmed, working through behaviour modification, or simply uninterested in a greeting. Giving other dogs plenty of space and being respectful of their body language is essential. This applies equally to dog-human interactions. Teach children and adults to ask the dog's carer and check the dog's body language before approaching. If the dog isn't actively seeking an interaction, admire from a distance instead. Dogs have personal space just like we do, and honouring that space helps them feel safe and understood. When we talk about enrichment, we're talking about everyday activities that allow dogs to sniff, chew, explore, problem solve, and use their instincts in healthy, appropriate ways. These activities reduce boredom, prevent frustration, and strengthen the bond between dogs and their families. And the best part is that enrichment doesn't need to be complicated. Thoughtful choices woven into daily life can make a huge difference. Every dog needs a job to do. Our beloved family dogs come from long histories of working roles, and those instincts don't disappear just because they now live in a suburban home. At the heart of many of these instincts is something called the predatory motor pattern, or PMP. This is the natural sequence of behaviours dogs' ancestors used to hunt prey. Different breeds were selectively developed by humans to emphasise or reduce certain parts of this predatory sequence, depending on the job they were required to perform. Terriers were bred to chase and kill bite. Herding breeds were selected for strong eye and stalk, but with the bite inhibited. Retrievers were shaped to chase and gently carry without damaging the item, and scent hounds were developed to orient and track for long distances. When dogs get to practice the parts of the PMP they were designed for, their brains release feel-good chemicals. This is why our dogs actively seek out these behaviours. They're biologically rewarding. If we don't give them appropriate outlets, they will find them on their own. That's when normal instincts can turn into unwanted behaviours in a pet home, like chasing cars, hurting the kids, harassing the neighbour's cat, digging up gardens, or shredding household items. Enrichment is one of the easiest and most effective ways to meet these breed-specific needs. Terriers may love searching for hidden toys, shaking tug ropes, or pouncing on a flirt pole. Scent hounds thrive with sniff and find games or treasure hunts. Herding breeds often enjoy controlled movement games, like herding balls. Retrievers may enjoy fetch, water play, or carrying soft items. These activities don't need to be complicated. They give a dog a safe, structured way to express the behaviours they're wired for. Another simple but incredibly effective form of enrichment is feeding your dog's daily diet through enrichment instead of from a bowl. Dogs are natural foragers, and working for their food provides mental exercise, problem solving, and calm focus. Kongs, licky mats, snuffle mats, slow feeders and puzzle toys all turn mealtimes into enriching experiences. DIY options are just as effective. Cardboard box treasure chests or simple scatter feeding in the grass. Sniffy treasure hunts, so hiding portions of their meal around the yard or house, are especially satisfying, tapping into both scenting and seeking behaviours. Enrichment also means giving dogs opportunities to explore interesting environments. Sniffing is a dog's primary way of understanding the world, and allowing them time to investigate their surroundings has a powerful calming effect. Slow sniffari walks, visits to new locations, or even bringing home some safe natural scents can provide rich sensory experiences. The key to enrichment is balance. Activities should be enjoyable but not overwhelming. A good enrichment activity leaves the dog feeling relaxed and satisfied afterwards, not frantic or frustrated. Remember, every dog is different, so it's important to choose activities that suit their age, personality, and comfort level. Puppies may need short, positive experiences that build confidence, so gentle sniffing, soft chews, simple puzzles, and calm socialisation. Adult dogs benefit from a mix of mental and physical outlets, and our senior dogs may prefer slower sniffing and simple food-based games. Dogs recovering from injury or surgery can still enjoy calm, low-impact enrichment that keeps their mind active while their body rests. Now let's have a look at some real-life examples, thinking about incorporating natural dog behaviour, predatory motor pattern considerations, food-based enrichment, and environmental enrichment. Our final topic for today is all about how dogs learn. Dogs learn through two key processes. Firstly, classical conditioning. It's about emotional associations. Good things happening create good feelings, while scary things create bad feelings. Our goal is to create positive experiences so dogs feel safe and comfortable in our human world. Some everyday examples include pairing gentle handling at the vet or during grooming with high-value food, so these experiences become predictable and safe. Feeding treats or even a meal in the car can help your dog learn that the car is a fun, relaxed place rather than something to worry about. When visitors arrive at your home, offering enrichment items helps your dog associate new people with calm, positive experiences. And you can also build confidence around household noises like vacuum cleaners, blenders, or the hairdryer by giving a treat each time the appliance turns on, helping your dog learn that these sounds predict something good. Operant conditioning is about consequences. Behaviours that are reinforced get repeated. Positive reinforcement is the gold standard because it strengthens the relationship you have with your dog and teaches the dog what we want them to do. When a dog's behaviour results in something they value, think food, play, praise, access to the environment, or even a chance to sniff, that behaviour becomes more likely in the future. This is how we teach skills like loose lead walking, recalls, calm greetings, and settling on a mat. Reinforcement gives dogs clear information. Yes, that choice worked. Do that again. Positive reinforcement encourages problem solving, confidence, and cooperation, and it reduces frustration for both the dog and the human. By consistently reinforcing the behaviours we like, we help our dogs build habits that fit comfortably into our world while still meeting their needs. Every behaviour has a purpose. Dogs do what works for them. They behave to access something they want or to avoid something they don't. When we understand the function of a behaviour, training becomes far more effective. Dogs repeat behaviours that meet their needs. That might be attention, play, food, movement, exploration, comfort, or relief. When we focus on the behaviours we do want and teach alternatives that meet the same need, we create lasting change. So let's have a look at how this plays out in real life. A dog who jumps up is usually trying to access social interaction. Instead of punishing the jumping, we teach an alternative greeting behaviour. Forepaws on the floor or a sit and reinforce it generously. If a dog runs off at the park, they're often chasing movement or exploring. We can meet that need by building a strong recall and rewarding check-ins. Chasing is especially reinforcing because it taps into the predatory motor pattern, releasing feel-good neurochemicals. This is why so many dogs struggle with recall around birds, wildlife, joggers, or bikes. Instead of fighting that natural motivation, we can use it. Incorporating predatory motor pattern style rewards like chase the toy games fulfills the same function but in a safe, controlled way. Pulling on lead is often about getting to something exciting. We teach loose lead walking by rewarding the dog for staying near us and using movement and sniffing opportunities as reinforcement. If the dog is pulling because they're worried, we prioritise helping them feel safe before working on lead manners. Some behaviours are driven by escape or avoidance. A dog who growls during handling may be saying, "I'm uncomfortable." A dog who hides from visitors may be overwhelmed. Reducing pressure, adjusting the environment, and building positive associations helps the dog feel safe enough to learn. When we understand the function of behaviour, we stop asking, "How do I stop this?" and start asking, "What would I like my dog to do instead?" And then we train that. And remember, your skilled trainer is here to guide you through this process, helping you and your dog learn together, building confidence and strengthening your partnership as you go.